Boston Bruins trade reports are continuing to heat up in the early parts of the offseason. We have another Jeremy Swayman trade report. This time, things are getting very interesting. We're going to be breaking it down, going over who this is to, what the whole deal is, and if this is genuinely possible for the Boston Bruins. Very quickly, before we jump into this video, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. We know 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot for all of your Boston Bruins news heading through this offseason, you have it right here. We have the NHL Draft Lottery in less than a week. You want to get all yours for that? Be sure to hit the sub button. I'll have it right here. Without any further ado, let's get into this video here. Starting off with the first kind of headline, I guess we could say, of this whole video, I guess the whole trade report, whatever you want to consider this, and pull it up on the big screen here. In a recent article from Bleacher Report, the suggestion is made that the Boston Bruins could look to make some major changes between the pipes after a brutal 24-25 campaign, potentially moving on from Jeremy Swayman. While 6 teams were listed as potential fits for Swayman, if they decide to move him, the Oilers were one of 6. It makes perfect sense, and if the Oilers are looking to make some upgrades in the goal next season and decide to move on from Skinner, they may make a move for Swayman. Now, I'm going to start this off, first of all, but kind of just this little, quote here, I guess, from myself. There's no way I think the Bruins are trading Jeremy Swayman. We're going to be getting these reports, I think, all throughout the summer, and the way that Swayman played this year, obviously, is going to have some fans not too happy. I was not happy with his performance this year, and obviously, I think that kind of stemmed from the whole beginning of the season, his contract negotiation, the way that went, and it makes sense why fans are mad at him, but you're not going to trade a guy you just signed for 8 years, $8.25 million, after the first season, knowing that you signed him to be your star goaltender, and having one bad season out of his entire career. It would make zero sense for the Boston Bruins. But as things like this continue to come out, I'll still be making videos on them because there is still something in my mind telling me that 0.000.1% chance there's a possibility of this. But let's jump into the next screenshot after that little kind of go over with that. And going over once again here from this article, saying realistically in between the deal, between the two would look like the Oilers acquiring Jeremy Swayman in exchange for Skinner, Arvidsson, a prospect, and both their 2027 first and second round picks. This would give the Bruins a fully fresh look between the pipes, give Skinner a fresh start that he needs, and add depth to both their forwards and prospect pools. The Bruins would have to fully embrace their rebuild at this point if they're willing to move on from him as star goaltender, but if not, it's something they're fully willing to consider. The Oilers should be all over it. Now, looking at this as well, first of all, it is Stuart Skinner here, and that is someone who we've seen not have the success that everybody had hoped for him in this season and in the playoffs. He's definitely not, I think, a starting caliber goalie. And of course, that can be debated. If he plays in the right system, the right team, whatnot, certainly could be. But we have an Oilers team who are very, very good. I think there's no debating that from this standpoint right now. And you're putting up 6 goals a game. You should be winning those games. And I'll stand by that for quite some time. And having Stuart Skinner, who's let up some goals like that, some easy goals, and kind of putting the Oilers on their toes here, especially in this playoff series, there's no way that the Bruins would even do this, first of all, for one, let alone, multiple picks in one draft. A first and a second, you would need multiple first. Stuart Skinner, Victor Arvidsson. The Bruins are not going to be embracing this full rebuild. They're going to be looking at this offseason as a retool yet. They're not in rebuild mode right now, and it may seem like that after the moves they've made at the trade deadline, but with those moves that were pending and moves that had to be made to be able to help the Bruins get to this whole wash of an offseason with a lot of signings coming in, some big draft picks, there are options that the Bruins have, and the rebuild is not one yet. Now, looking at the lineup, there still are many, many assets that are needed. They're still in the retool, but trading Jeremy Swayman right now would be a terrible decision to alter this whole franchise for a long time. Because when we're looking at Stuart Skinner, as I mentioned, not really a starting goalie, at least in my mind right now, and he hasn't proved it to many other people as well. And when we look at the goaltending here in the system, I don't trust to see, wrong frame there. I don't really trust Stuart Skinner to be the starting goalie, because we know Joonas Korpisalo is very likely to be traded after coming out and saying that he was not happy with his whole season play and the time that he got to play, and well deserving much more playing time over Jeremy Swayman, not as a whole, but would have been a pretty even 50-50 split in my mind if it does come down to the play. But then you have Brandon Bussi, Michael DiPietro. One of those goalies, I'm not really sure just yet, but in my looks from the offseason, going through the past year with Providence and the Boston Bruins, it does seem like to me that Michael DiPietro will be the backup goalie for the Boston Bruins next season, barring any changes, any acquisitions of another goaltender, and giving some options for whoever it may be, whether it's Philip Svedbak or not, to be the backup in Providence. Now, Jonas Korpisalo definitely going to be, at least in conversations as well in trades, but Jeremy Swayman, he is going to be the starting goalie for a couple years now, and there's no doubt about that. There may be a change down the road, not saying there won't be, but right now is a terrible decision to do so. So making this trade for specifically Stuart Skinner, adding those other pieces would certainly be good, but Stuart Skinner cannot be on the whole minuscule amount of goaltending that this team has right now. So looking at this, I still count it out. I still don't think it's a possibility. But when we're looking at some possible draft goaltenders, maybe the wild off season that we're going to be underway here continues to go out, and they're going to be trading up another pick to get 2 first-round picks, going out and getting Joshua Ravensburg. And now this is barring an actual Swayman trade. As I mentioned, I think it's very unlikely, but we still have to kind of take it with a grain of salt because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. At 20th overall, top goalie in this year's draft, and also being paired with a few others here who, as you see on the bottom there, Jack Ivankovich, Alexei Medvedev, Pyotr Andreyanov, and Semyon Frolov. So, there's a lot of goaltenders here. A lot of those are over in Europe, but now he's a very good goalie, Joshua Ravensburg, and there's no doubt about that. And I don't think the Bruins want to have to go through another system where they have a young goalie, have another one that's coming up, have to eventually, alter what's going to happen in their system. They want a solidified, lockdown goaltender. They know that they can have. They have an elite one in Jeremy Swayman, who won't be going anywhere soon. I'll just say that right now. And I'll finally say it here in the video that they're not moving. They're not having any moving parts here from Jeremy Swayman. So let me know what you think about this report here, first of all, from Bleacher Report, as well as kind of going over what is happening with this Bruins team in the offseason. The goaltending situation is certainly going to be addressed. Now, I do fully anticipate it's going to be Jonas Korpisalo being traded. Jeremy Swayman will continue to be in talks, as I mentioned, because when we look at this article back here, going to the first screenshot, there were 6 teams that were listed in this article about possibilities for a Swayman trade, and no matter what goalie it is, they're going to be linked to the Edmonton Oilers. Certainly looking for a goalie, continuing to need a goalie, and that's pretty evident. But Jeremy Swayman will not be that Edmonton Oilers goalie. If so, it would have been done already, in my opinion. But, crazy things have happened. And we saw that with the Luka Doncic trade in the NBA. And, it really goes to show that nowadays in sports, it's a lot of business behind the actual curtain that we all see. So let me know what you think about all of this stuff here in the comments below, because, there's a lot of crazy stuff going down. And also, let me know what you think about these goaltenders right here on the bottom. Is there anybody you want to see drafted to potentially be a backup for or a starter in the AHL at some point if we do see a trade for Jonas Korpisalo? But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But remember, I'm having all of the Bruins content here, including about a week from today, I believe it is, or a week from tomorrow, something along the lines of a week for the NHL Draft Lottery. We'll have it here, likely be streaming, so be sure to stick around for that. Hit the sub button if you do not want to miss that. We'll have it all right here. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well, like I said. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. See you later.